Hello everyone, welcome to our Let's Play series of Disco Elysium. This is Colonel RPG as usual, and I'm very happy that she chose to join me today as we talk to Cell. That's her name. She hasn't introduced herself, but that's her name, and I'm gonna give her my hat, because last episode I gave her my nicest hat, and I'm gonna give her my perception hat. My orange bum hat. Thanks, she puts it on. It's a bit large for her. I suspect all the other hats would be large for her. You said it's supposed to be a music place? What is it? That. She nods towards the church. The boys think it could be a place, like the Elysium or something. Stupid, it's really not gonna be a Elysium, that's for sure. The boys? Yeah, Andre and the guys. They're inside, in the tent. And why is that? Asks our logic. Why are you freezing out here while the boys are inside? They got too much stuff crammed in there. No room. Stuff like what? Music stuff, mostly. Like this tape recorder, but bigger, and there's piles of it. You mean like those headphones your boyfriend sold? Yep. She squints her eyes a little. They were pretty. I'm sorry we sold those. Why not just leave some of it outside so you don't have to freeze? That stuff is more expensive than I am. More expensive than any of us, really. Doesn't matter. I can take the cold. I had some other questions. Go ahead. The tape recorder lies on the ice like a discarded toy. I'm gonna pick it up. Because I gave her a hat. I have a +1 on that. Why would I give her... Why is this an empathy check? What am I doing here? It's not like I'm helping her. I'm gonna do that though. We should succeed, right? I mean, 72. It's never safe. The device is still warm from her touch and heavy as a brick from the batteries inside. The company logo Omicron adorns its yellow plastic cover. Inside, the tape is rolling. The girl looks at the device in your hands. I'm sorry you have to sit here on the ice feeling miserable. At your age, or at any age, in this weather, waiting for it to get dark. She looks you in the eye, her pupils wide, surrounded by a ridiculous amount of makeup. The people who built this world intended it to be better for you, but they failed. It's easier to live in their failure with this by your side. I'm gonna tap on the tape recorder. The wind blows, or howls. She remains silent. It's real. Tell her. Says our empathy. It's not a childish fantasy. It can be a real weapon against what's coming for you now. What is? Her shoulders shake a little. What is what? What is coming for you? Huh. I think that's what it means. I didn't get it. Like it couldn't flow, but let's just read what I said so I know what I'm going to say. It is not a childish fantasy. It can be a real weapon, and by it I mean the tape recorder, against what's coming for you now. What is? Nothing, I'm gonna say. If you got this, don't be scared. Okay. Her teeth rattle. She takes the device from you and places it in her lap. I'll stick to it. Something changes between you two. She looks at you differently now, as an equal, a fellow human being. After a moment of silence, she speaks again. So, thanks, I guess. For the psych lesson? Maybe I can return it. What's been eating you, officer? Have you... I don't know what this I shouldn't answer that. But then again, I mean I should, but I mean there's no problem. I assume there's no problem in just letting her take the conversation, but I think riding the wave of... I don't think it matters, but in the game design, but riding the wave of just of empathy here, asking her for a name, and is, I think, the correct way of proceeding. Uh, I'm gonna ask her for her name. I don't know what this is. I think this means, you said eating me. I think this means that this question is designed to be asked a long time after she says that, so I can at least know as a player that what that is in context of. What's your name? Acel. Her hair is dyed blonde, says our perception, with dark roots showing. There's a coarseness to her features, some masculinity below that timidness. I need to ask her surname. Acel who is really rude. I'm not a young suitor. This is official business. And your surname? Even though that definitely feels like I'm just this. It's basically the same, basically, because basically. Why? Why indeed? Forget it. Okay. What's that? No, let's not ask her about the device. I think we're good. You said eating me? There's nothing eating me. Come on, I can tell. She shakes her head slowly. But okay, be a boyadero. And a cowboy. That's boyadero. That is a cowboy. Then it's got the eye. Yeah. Why does she say it like that? That's such a weird mishmash of all the things. This setting is fascinating. Be a boyadero about it if you want to. Well, I guess there's something. It's been making my life hell. What is it? She listens intently. Everyone just mooching off the entrepreneurial class. Oh my god. That would be... actually, I was gonna say that would be the fascist take, but that's a little bit... That's not right. I think that would be the moralist. No. This game has another one. So, is it moralist, fascist, and ultra-liberalist? Is it? How that goes? That would be the liberalist. Either way, it is still the liberalist attitude. But because this game has 4 very specific political alignments, you need to figure out which one that is. I think it's all these foreign people. That would be the fascist one. The foreign people taking our jobs. And then... Oh, wait, this isn't... I didn't even read the first one. I thought it was gonna... Because I just skipped it. Because like... As I'm talking and playing, I need to skim some of the lines to just make sure I don't spend like every chance every time there's a list of options, I just don't spend like 10 seconds or 15 seconds not saying anything. So the way I play is I skim things, and I didn't see that bit at the end. So this is just blatantly a political question. Not I thought I was gonna be about my memory loss and something. People just keep putting their selfish interests ahead of the greater good. I wonder what that one is supposed to be. Because, you know, it could be applied to anything by anyone. I think it's the plight of the working class, I'm gonna say. Oh, really? The golem of capital runs rampant, smashing creator and slave alike. I fear the process is irreversible. Wow. Social justice really matters that much to you? That's commendable. I really had you shaken up there. Are you sure that's it, though? There's enough subtext here that this could be... The reference to a golem is a little bit vague, because golems are Jewish folklore, or I suppose, I'm not sure if they're folklore or actual just part of the religion, but still they have Jewish connotations, and especially when you go with capital, and there's the connotations there that might make this be very much not about just social justice and being just plain racist. And it's also important, like, it's interesting, like, sure, whatever. The game does what it does. It's got only four political factions, as it were. So nuance, that's not the point of this game. This game is not about nuance. Which just makes it all the more interesting when nuance does happen, because it does happen every once in a while, and it makes it better. It makes the nuance a little bit better. But it is important to note that there are ways of looking after the working class that are not about social justice, and there's definitely certain factions of leftism that just are very unjust and dictatorial and all this sort of stuff. And with this game in specific, I think it was one of my skills that talked to me, and I said, I think I mentioned it again since that happened. I said it must have been a skill, because I said this skill. I think I said that this skill wanted me to be a tanky, which would then be a tanky is effectively a authoritarian left-wing person. Although there's more nuance to that than just that, but still that would be a summing of what it is, and that just, yeah, it's interesting. But then again, it's just 4 specific factions, and the nuance is not there, but it still feels important to mention. I have a big line over here that I probably will go with. I haven't seen much of this world, but from what I've seen, social justice is an adolescent term. Does that mean that it's a term of adolescence? Because that's... Or does it mean that it's a new term? Because it isn't. Historically speaking. Like, realistically speaking. Maybe in this setting it is. Sounds almost liberal. Which, again, this would be the liberal as in actual, like, neoliberal, rather than what some countries see as just left-wing. Liberalism isn't left-wing. It's centrism. What's got me shaken up is the people's struggle, and it's got me shaken up bad. Oh, okay, so this is actually a little bit of that, what I was saying about the nuance. Social justice, the conflation. I don't know if that's where SL is coming from, but the conflation of the workers, the workers' plight, as it were, the people's plight, people's struggle, the conflation of that with social justice is very much about understanding how the social status of a person. And when I say social status, I do mean like if you're a woman, or if you're a member of the LGBT community, or if you're a non-white person, or if you're disabled. Disabled? It's just if you're not fully abled, basically, or differently abled anyway. And there's a lot of ways for your social status to be affected, or rather, not to be affected, but to affect your plight as a working person. And to just look at the working class and at the plights of a working class without taking the social stances or the social status into account is, it definitely, I mean, if you can fight for the working class, you can definitely achieve, well, at least theoretically anyway, you can achieve success in fighting for the working class. But justice is much more than that. And so the understanding of the plights of the working class, and I think I say this as somebody who has a little bit more understanding of anarcho-syndicalism and other types of non-authoritarian leftisms, or other types of non-authoritarian leftism. There would be just the conflation of those two is, I think it's a very powerful thing, and I think that maybe this may be the negating that. It's a very powerful thing, mostly because the tools that cause people of a different social status to be oppressed, like, for example, the black community or I say black community, black people in the U.S. throughout the 2 centuries. How long was it? The slavery thing in the U.S. Was it 2 centuries? Anyway, the tools that were used to oppress the black people in the U.S. were very much related to the plights of the working class, not because the slaves were fighting for their workers' rights, but which they were, just for a basic thing, which is getting paid and not be owned and treated like by property and genocided against and all that sort of stuff, with lynchings and whatnot. But not just that, but also because it is the fight as much as they were fighting, and I say this just as using an example, but you can find those in other examples as well. But because the same way they were fighting for their rights, or the way they were fighting for their rights is similar to the way a working person fights for their rights anyway. So joining those two in looking for actual justice is a lot more powerful than just saying, oh, it's economical anxiety, it's all fine, and you know what I mean. And that's where those two come together, I feel. And this is weird, and so that just feels weird. It is true though that trying to a term that has been used recently, historically speaking, to try to defang, I suppose, to try to defang the workers' right movement throughout the world, but specifically in the U.S., a term or an attitude that has been used is to try to conflate those objectives, the objectives of the working class, with identity politics. And identity politics, it's a difficult term to analyze because it's used in different contexts, and depending on when it's used as well as where it's used, it can mean different things. But generally speaking, it's basically politics that are tailor-made for a specific identity, to sort of try to politically weaponize the identity of people for whatever goal it's trying to be achieved. And that works across the spectrum. It doesn't necessarily have to be a left-wing strategy. And just generally, it isn't necessarily a left-wing strategy. At least historically speaking, it isn't. It's much more a right-wing strategy because of propaganda and the way it's used. And of course, we just saw another option before, when there was something about it's the fault of the immigrant. That is a form of identity politics, because it's tailor-making your politics towards the person who is not an immigrant. But you can also do the opposite, and just do the identity politics for the immigrants, and that would be also identity politics. But that conflation by the liberal class does have the objective of trying to defang the fight for the working class in a way that focuses wrongly, I in my opinion, but focuses the what I mean to say is that there, at least in this game, there's a reason why the moralists are called moralists, and that is what this game is criticizing in the liberal attitude, political attitude, is that idea that the middle ground is the correct, tends to be the correct answer. Like the truth is always in the middle. The golden, is it called the golden middle or something? There's a term for it, but I think that it's also a thing that we need to be careful of, because people can use and do use the arguments of their opponents against their opponents. And if you think of a thing and just decide to agree with somebody because they say something vaguely similar to what you think, without actually looking at their objectives and the results of their actions, it can be very dangerous, and it is dangerous, historically speaking. So ramble, basically, about this answer. Let's see. Social justice really matters to you much. That much to you. That's commendable. It really had you shaken up there. Are you sure that's it, though? Yeah, pretty sure. Now I had some questions about something else entirely. Sure. Oh, the rambles. Have you seen a red-haired woman around? No. Just no, asks Skim. It's pretty desolate here. I only hear the dogs bark at night and see the shadows move down the coast. Considering what we're trying to do here, this doesn't look like a good sign. Superstition, she says. We can turn the grim desolation into a fun dance club, and thus also help turn this hellhole around. Tell me more about this music place. You've been this music place you've been planning in the church. Oh, it's supposed to become like a club for anodic dance music. I don't know what that means. Like that new style of synthesizer stuff they play at the Elysium. Except that, yeah, she looks at the old wooden church up on the poles. As a mean wind comes bellowing in, the 6-story structure lets out a doleful shriek. What? I'm not gonna ask. Should I? I will. What is anodic dance music? I'm glad that I asked that. You know, anodic, cathodic music that's made with electronic instruments. Oh, electronic instruments like what? Synthesizers and tape recorders, microcomputers too. Anything that uses electricity but isn't guitars. Even though guitars, no, that's why she says but isn't guitars. So a violin can do that? Is because there's also electric violins. I think this is just generally just anything weird, okay? Anyway, also found sounds, she says, stuff like that. You see clear, beautiful, violent flashes of light, says our inland empire, light cutting through a smoke-filled darkness. This is what the future will look like if it ever comes. So you want to turn the church into a club? I know, she nods towards the sloping mass of wood on the coast, and then shivers. It's not my idea. Andre and the boys found the place. It was supposed to be deserted, but now they can't even take it. Hey, don't get me wrong, but you're cops, right? Yeah, why do you ask? Okay, well, she hesitates. Maybe you could talk to Andre and the guys, because there are some strange things going on in that church. If you're police, you should look into it, right? Yeah, I'll talk to them. They're inside that thing there, she points to the tent. Would it be cool if you did? Was there something else? Yeah, did you put the padlock on the church door? No. No. No, not really, no. She's trying to get out of a direct lie with semantic tricks. She personally didn't put the padlock on the door, says our rhetoric. This works probably very well, or this works better, basically, if you singular and you plural are different words in the language that this game is playing in. Because if you just say, instead of you, if you say thee, and is it thee? Yeah, thee. So, is it thee or thy? I don't know Old English. Anyway, the question is, did thee put the padlock on the church door? It isn't a semantic thing. She's just telling the truth. It's just plainly. But however, if I say you, as in the plural, she's lying. Because, yes, they did. They did. She not personally did it. Okay, if you personally didn't, then who did? Yeah, you know, that's what I meant. Noid did. Noid put the padlock on the door. Wait, is this Noid a friend of yours? Yeah, I guess you could say that. Why did this Noid person put a padlock on the church door? To keep more weirdos from coming in? Fucking Martinez, I'm sorry. She rattles her teeth. It's got the worst weirdos. If you get around to it, ask Andre about them. He'll tell you. Okay, enough about the church. I had another question. Go ahead. Actually, that's it for now. Okay, bye. She turns her attention back to the recording device. And I need to put a cap on. Also, the game auto-saved. Which is only fair. There we go. Now I have a cap on. You two should get one, Kim. But I don't think that's going to happen. Let's go inside. And, oh. The tent is just tarpaulin fabric covering a pile of stuff. The flap is open. Inside, 3 young men are listening to some new form of music. It's like nothing you've ever heard. One of them looks at you.
Come on. Get in and close the flap behind you. The warm stuff's getting out.
It's safe to assume this is their leader. That's Andre. Or at least he thinks he is. I'm gonna go in.
Sorry, we barely have room for one.
He points his thumb at the lieutenant.
You go ahead. I'm too old for this.
I'm actually not, says our esprit de corps, which is what Kim is saying. I just dislike delinquents.
I'm sure you will feel right at home. I'll keep watch.
He gestures to you to squeeze in. Well, well, well. Canisters filled with what appears to be water. The label says distilled. A speaker. The big kind they use for live music. Yeah. Wild, wild, I want to see. Where's the child I used to be? I suppose it's them singing. A young man with peroxide blonde hair holds up a Harmond Wowski tape player, nodding along to the music. He looks at you with a knowing smile and says, as though you're supposed to be sharing some tremendous evangelical secret,
Hardcore!
is it?
It's hardcore!
I don't know what to say.
Skibber-dee, skibber-danger. I am the rearranger.
Your cop training did not prepare you for this, says our authority. What do you do? Could there have been a right way out of this garden or of forking paths, you think? Says our Inland Empire. Could there be? Solve the egghead puzzle. Wait, the egghead? What do you mean? There has to be some way to talk to this person. You just haven't found it yet. It's definitely not about signs. I don't know what signs are. What if you just try again? Find your way out of this maze of things to say. Oh, we didn't even try, so we didn't get a really good grasp as to what exactly it was. Let's lower our authority, because our authority sucks. So, is this like a usable thing? It is. Minus health. Oh no, but it kills me. I mean, I assume it kills me. It probably does. So let's not. It specifically says minus health. Oh, no. That's the uses. Okay, yeah, it doesn't matter. So visual calculus, pain threshold and volition, savoir-faire, rhetoric, shivers. What else do we have? Physical instrument, endurance, logic and authority. Probably better than our glasses. Encyclopedia, yeah, that probably is not going to matter. Empathy, though. Empathy glasses are the best glasses. We know this. There's glasses for days, my god. Just put all the glasses in the same place. Yeah, I have 5 glasses. Drama thing. Suggestion, electrochemistry, although that probably is pretty important. We got savoir-faire over here. Faire, not fair. Half-light. That's electrochemistry plants over here. Oh, why is that the other? What the heck? Savoir-faire -1? Reaction speed -1. Sure. Those are cool pants. Extra logic. Conceptualization. Electrochemistry gloves. Interfacing gloves. Sure. And then we have electrochemistry clothing. That's what we're gonna wear. Sure. So we have +3 electrochemistry. Sounds good to me.
This is hardcore. Hardcore! Hardcore to the mega! Internally coherent.
I was wondering if you knew who killed the mercenary hanging behind the whirling in rags hostel. I'm still also gonna say nothing, but I think...
All core! Alright! Yeah!
I think these are supposed to be jokes for us. Please tell me, what exactly are you doing? I didn't say that, though. I said nothing. He furrows his brow as his very large head traces the sublime invisible movement of the music in the very real air of the stuffy tent.
Hardcore! Ah!
He lets out an agonized roar over the feeble-ish, obviously not too hardcore beat below. Yeah, it's very basic. So hardcore, I'm gonna say.
Is it though?
He stops, dead in his tracks, tilting his head to the side. It is!
But is it? I mean, really?
He's saying the things I could have said. He tilts his head to the other side like an owl. It feels like you should reply with the very pinnacle of idiocy here, so that things get totally transcendent. But you haven't gotten there yet, so you don't know what to say. I was thinking that too.
I am the mic enforcer. I am the chick's checker. Yeah!
A pile of nasal sprays. Brand reads Nosafed Ultra. Can I talk to you? You see a youngish man bleaching the tips of his hair with a toothbrush. He puts the toothbrush down and extends his hand in greeting.
Hello, I'm Andre. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Oh, you're Andre. Well, I'm out of time, so we're going to talk to him next episode. For right now, I'm Colonel RPG, and this has been Disco Elysium. I really hope you've enjoyed it, and if you did, go ahead and leave a comment. Like the video if you want to see the next episode come out sooner rather than later. But above all, thank you so much for watching, and I hope I'll see you next episode. I'll look ridiculous. Bye-bye.